Okay, so here's what we got today. I'm going to keep things very simple. I just want to have one kind of singular focus for you guys. It's about recovery, but it's also about tying in kind of different systems or different patterns that we don't normally, and getting really, I guess, granular with how we're focusing on different aspects, different parts of the body. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is go through the breath again. I cannot over teach you how to breathe in this internal oblique hamstring engagement type thing. This is kind of like the root of all of these positional drill exercises. So we'll go through that. I have like sort of an open tension relief for anybody that feels like, let's focus on one area and opening it up. So we'll do that for a few minutes, kind of focus on whatever you guys are feeling in this moment today needs some relief. Then we'll go through kind of a lower body bias. We're going to do the hook lying hamstring bridge. And then we're going to go into this hip extension positional drill. You'll need like a towel or a mat, something to put underneath the foot to give you a cue. And then we'll go into some actual like work. We're going to do a wall sit, get the quads nice and hot, and then go into a passive zombie get up position. I'll show you what that means. Okay. Gonna make it easier for you guys. Okay. Then we're gonna go into a knee over toe calf raise, says calories, and a passive toe sit. Okay. And we're just kind of getting into all the nooks and crannies, heating them up, and then also trying to manipulate soft tissue and opening them up through these long holds, these passive positions. We're going to finish off today with some breath and movement. We've done this before. We're going to keep building on this. That is the one breath, one burpee, 2 breaths, 2 burpees. Okay, you guys will go as far into it as you can. It's limited by your own abilities. I know, so much fun. Natalie loves the burpees. And then you're going to regress it, take half, and we'll just keep it going. We're going to finish with lizard and pigeon. That is an imperative. We never get to it, so we're going to get to it today. Okay. All right. Amazing. Let's go through our breath first. Okay. And then we'll go into kind of the open tension thing. So all we're doing here, getting really, really comfortable. I can hear you guys if you're unmuted. I don't have any issue with you staying unmuted, especially for now, as long as it's not like fighting feedback wise. Can you still hear me the same way you did? I didn't get quieter. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're lying down on the back with our feet planted, knees bent, essentially just finding a very comfortable position. Okay, there's no demand for how far or how close the feet are. You're just getting really comfortable. Once you're comfortable, place your hands on the lower portion of your rib cage. Make sure that you have this kind of, you can see me well here, we're going palms on the side of the rib cage, kind of beneath, and then fingertips on the abs, the six-pack muscles, the front of the belly. Okay, we want those 2 positions because we want to be able to dissociate them. The palms, the side abs should be tightening up on the end of our exhale. The belly should stay relaxed, soft, jelly belly the whole time. So the 6-pack abs should never engage. Okay, we're really comfortable. We've got our hands on our belly. We're going to very slowly exhale all of the air out. And I want you guys to do it audibly with that little restriction in the back of the knee. Throat there. Easiest thing to think about, fog a mirror. Okay, so many of us will kick on the ab muscles, the 6-pack muscles. Do your best to keep those soft and relaxed. I'm going to let us go through our own pacing and cadence here. When you get to the end, find that side ab muscle, tongue on the roof of the mouth, and then inhale nice and slow without any dramatic rib cage movement. Get to the end of your inhale, you're going to exhale again, same thing, fog the mirror. Hold. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, inhale. Okay. You guys keep going through that. Doesn't really matter where you are in terms of inhaling or exhaling. I just want you to go at your own pace, nice and slow. And every single time you're trying to dissociate, is my 6-pack muscle turning on? Or can I keep it off and then get my side abs to engage? Make sure your hands are beneath your rib cage. You're on your ab muscles, your side abs, your obliques. Yeah, a little lower there, Jeff. Yeah, that whole segment between the hip and the rib cage, the soft musculature aspect, right? That's what we're trying to get kicked on through that audible, slow exhale. Everything is very passive here, relaxed. Much like me trying to teach you some sort of skill, like rubbing your belly and patting your head. This is an exercise in control. So if you're having difficulty getting the right things going, that's okay. That's normal. If you feel like you have, at least for now, mastered this, you can absolutely get the side abs kicked on, keeping them on your inhale, and your six-pack muscles soft and relaxed. Give me a thumbs up. If you need more time, go ahead and take it. If you've given me the thumbs up, that's cool. Let's go a couple more. Let's get really good at this. Jeff, are we having trouble here? Okay. The more dramatic that audible exhale, the better. Okay. At the very end of the exhale, you should start to feel the sides of the abs kick on. Okay. Good. Once they're kicked on, you're going to do your best to keep them engaged. As you then, tongue on the roof of the mouth, slow inhale. When you're inhaling, you want to try to just feel like you're getting this big breath into the torso. Okay, so it should feel like your whole torso is expanding and you're accessing nooks and crannies with your air intake that you normally wouldn't. Dana?
Yeah, hi.
We good?
Sorry.
Hi. It's okay.
Yeah,
So
I broke my computer this morning apparently, and so I'm like trying to use my iPad, and then I lost connectivity. So sorry. I was like, oh, we're all just like chilling here.
Jeff got better at it. Okay, this is really important, friends, especially for those of you watching on recording. Make sure that you master this and understand this, okay? Because if you don't have this degree of control, you can't possibly expect to have the right engagement during other more challenging movements. Okay, we're making this as easy as possible. All right, Dana can keep practicing. All you guys can keep practicing this, but I'd like to go through a specific tension release. Does anyone have any spots that feel excessively tight? Something that we can troubleshoot here while I'm with you live and help you open up. Don't be shy. If not, I'll just pick some stuff.
All right, if no one else is going to, I'm going to say right now, like groin, inner thigh, and shoulders.
Okay.
I would definitely say hips for me.
What about the hips, Jeff?
I don't know, just like I wish they were more mobile. Like I wish I had more flexibility.
Okay, cool. All right, so the very first thing that we're going to do is just offer expansion. Okay. For many of us, we are in this posterior deep compression. So like muscles deep into the butt cheeks are typically pretty tight just from the way that we live. All right. When we look at something general like hips opening up, that's pretty much 85% of the time the culprit is that posterior deep tension. So we want to, or compression, we want to undo that. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is grab a foam roller. Okay. Have a foam roller. We'll do a quick test. Okay. I want everyone to go through an active straight leg raise. Okay. So foam roller by your side, and then you can just watch me for a moment. I have you on recording, by the way. I've changed it so that you guys are showing up in the recording. I hope that's all right. Is that okay? I'm going to have that forever going forward. This is only shared with housemates, but it's so that everyone else can get a visual on what else is happening. Because I've found that watching myself, you just see me looking at you. It's like not helpful. Okay, so first thing we're doing is testing the active straight leg raise. You guys have to be really honest with yourselves in this on how it feels and slow it way, 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 way down. Okay. Let me know if anyone's unmuted, if you can see me well here. Otherwise, I'll move the camera.
You're good.
Okay. All right. So there's a couple things. Can you see my feet? Yes. Make sure toes are pointed straight up to the sky here. Okay. Nothing's athletic, nothing's aggressive. We're not trying to force any position. We're just seeing what our body can naturally do, okay? The straight leg raise is as it sounds. You're getting into this comfortable position, and then you're very slowly bringing your leg straight up as high as it naturally goes, okay? So I get stuck around here and I feel my quad kick on like crazy. I can absolutely do this, but there's so much other stuff going on. Namely, my quad feels like it's gonna cramp up. I'm getting very muscular. My low back starts to round into the floor. I'm crunching my abs. And my other leg, my down leg, starts to roll out. My toes start to roll away from the middle, okay? And those are all the very common things for when we start getting to our end range and start cheating, is that we'll come up, we'll crunch the abs under to get a couple more inches, we'll fire the quad harder, and we'll roll the leg out. So all I want you guys to do is just very naturally go to the point where you feel like, all right, nothing's cheating. That's about where I stop and then want to start cheating, okay? Take note of it, see how it feels, and try to kind of think about what the angle of your leg is, right? For me, this is what, probably 55 degrees from the ground, would you say, ish? And then we'll go to the other side and also assess. This one feels less for me. This one feels like 45, 50, okay? So I will help assess. Let's check it out real quick. Straight leg, toes pointed up to the sky, and then very slowly come up. So Jeff, do that in slow-mo. Pause. Okay, good. So Jeff, go down a little bit more. I'm just focusing on you for right now. When you get to about there, your other leg comes off the ground. So start over, legs down, okay? Feet together, toes pointed up. Very slowly, start to lift that left leg, very slowly. And then on the right side, I want you to notice when it feels like it's starting to lift up off the ground. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one for you, Jeff. We're about there. Okay, cool. And then we'll do the other side, same thing. Natalie, you feel like you got your measurements? Okay, cool. If you guys are in a position where the camera can see you, it's much more helpful because, as I said, it's recorded and I can literally show you and you can watch the before and afters. So we're gonna try to replicate this on the after. So make sure you got a good position. If you wanna just quickly redo it again, make sure the camera can see you and let's go through it, okay? Otherwise, all good. Okay, so I'm just gonna use Jeff as an example for anyone watching this and wants to learn this and get better at this. Jeff, is that okay? Okay, sweet. So Jeff's in a good position so we can see this. Let's just look at Jeff really quickly. This is super important. Jeff, will you back up just a little bit? I don't really need to see your head. I just need to see like your hips and your knees and your ankles. Okay. Yeah. Bring the camera down a little bit more. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So when Jeff lies down, do you guys see how his hamstrings don't touch the floor? Okay. Do you also see how his ribs are up? Like you can very clearly see where the bottom of his ribs are, right? So Jeff, when you lie down, your body is in a position where your hips like to be sexy butt, and thus your rib cage likes to be flared open, right? And so naturally, when you're on the ground, and don't try to make any adjustments, we're gonna fix this properly, okay? Naturally, when you're on the ground, you either wanna rotate out or you wanna arch, whatever else, but that feels normal to you. You don't have any like control of that. That feels like that's flat, okay? When we go through these positional drills and expansion things for that compression I was talking about in the deep low butt, what we want to look for when Jeff redoes this, not only that things get better in his straight leg raise, but that visually he can just get a little flatter, less hamstring, more hamstring on the ground, rib cage down a little bit lower. Okay, so those are just things to look for. We've got to pick the right drills, but we're going to figure this out. We're going to troubleshoot Jeff. So Jeff, feet together. Let's go for that test. Remember, nothing active and muscular. You're going to start with your left. Now I want you guys to watch Jeff's knee. It's going to be hard to see because Jeff's got a big old quad. Okay, do you see how Jeff's knee is not fully locked out on the left? Beautiful. And then Jeff, right about there, watch his other hamstring. Keep going, Jeff. Keep going. See how that's lifting up? Okay, beautiful. So awesome, Jeff, go down. We're gonna look for those two things again. And I'm gonna tell you where Jeff actually stops. Obviously he could keep going, but let's see. So Jeff, slowly. That is a juicy quad, man. That looks good. Right there. All right, down a little bit more. That's about where Jeff really is. But he's also missing that screw home mechanism, which is the ability to lock his knee into place without having to force it with his strong quads. Yeah, he can force it with his strong quads. Good. Okay, come on down. So that tells me that there's some internal rotation limits on that side. Let's see the other side, and you can just stay as you are, very slowly. Good, Jeff. Just be honest with it. Nice and easy. Okay, so the left toes look like they're starting to spin out a little bit. His foot's starting to move out to the left. Do you see that? Come on down again, Jeff. Try to relax a little bit more. Your feet can stay pointed straight up, but try to just relax. Don't be so muscularly driven. Okay, go slow with the right foot up. And you guys, we're gonna look at that left foot and just notice when it starts to roll away from the center. Okay, cool. The fact that Jeff is bouncing and struggling right around there, that's all I'm gonna give him. Okay, nice job, Jeff. Thank you so much for letting us break you down. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna go through this drill. Everyone is, and then we're gonna look at Jeff again. I'm doing this one person so we can all see like actual, but you should all feel same sort of change. So let's go to that position again, but I want you to put the foam roller between your knees, okay? I don't want you to be focusing on squeezing the foam roller. I just realized I'm projecting like crazy. I don't need to. I've got the mic on. I don't need you to be squeezing the foam roller hard. Nothing should be muscular or like athletically driven. This should all just be kind of that rubbing your belly, patting your head sort of mental work, okay? Your feet need to be planted so that the entirety of your foot is on the floor. Ball of the big toe, ball of the pinky toe, and heels, okay? You really need to make sure that the whole foot stays down. No tension here. First thing we got to understand is how to pull your pelvis into the right position. So if you guys can see me, go ahead and look. If you can't, it's okay, just listen. With that full foot against the floor, I'm going to push down into the ground a tiny bit, and then I'm going to pull my heels towards my butt and my butt towards my heels, okay? And what that should do, if we have the right neuromuscular connection, is use our hamstrings to pull our pelvis into the grandpa butt position. So we go from a naturally extended kind of arched low back to a rounded low back, butt is tucked. We go from sexy butt to grandpa butt. Some of you will pull your hamstrings and feel that sexy butt actually increase. You'll go into more sexy butt when you do that little engagement. Make sure that's not the case. I'd love everyone to do this right now. So do that subtle pull, heel to butt, butt to heel, as if to bring your whole body towards your feet and your feet towards your body, but of course they don't move. Again, make this subtle. It should not be like raw athletic. It should just be subtle. Give me a thumbs up if you got the posterior tilt, if your pelvis tucked under and you reduced the space in your low back. Natalie? Yes, thank you. Okay, now keep that, okay? Keep that position. You should feel your hamstrings. You should make sure you're in that grandpa butt. And now touch your stomach, your six-pack muscles. Make sure they're soft. Many of us will go rectus, meaning six-pack, and just crunch the abs to pull our pelvis in that position. Can you keep that butt tuck without turning on the abs? Give me a thumbs up if you have that. So your abs are soft, jelly belly. Yeah, good job. All right, now keep that position, keep that hamstring engaged, keep that posterior tilt, keep the soft abs, and go back to the breath that we learned in the beginning, okay? So inhale through the nose, nice and relaxed. Exhale through the mouth. Kicking on those side abs. Make sure you feel them, that's important. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. Slow inhale. Everything is super relaxed as long as we're in that position. The only thing that I would argue is not necessarily super relaxed are those hamstrings. Okay, you should feel those hamstrings at like a 2 or 3 out of 10 working. I would encourage you all to place your hands on your belly. Make sure that you're feeling the side ab muscles. Continue to pull. And if you feel like you've got what I want you to get, then I also would like you to gently just imagine that your whole back that's touching the ground is Velcro against the ground, and just start peeling off that Velcro from your tailbone. So just very subtly lift that tailbone off the floor, because you're pulling yourself more with your hamstrings. Your hamstrings are increasing that pelvic tuck to the point where your tailbone is actually starting to lift slightly off of the floor. Keep the breath going, very relaxed, except for that hamstring pulling the butt under. When you have it, make sure you go through at least 3 full inhale, exhale cycles with the oblique muscles on, the 6-pack nice and soft. Exhaling all the air, taking a moment, slowly inhaling through the nose. And if anyone can't figure this out, isn't getting in that proper position, make sure you stop and figure it out before you do 3 full breath cycles. Anyone live with me, let me know. We'll troubleshoot it. 3 full breath cycles, really making it obvious. Make sure you feel hamstring, inner oblique. You're pulling that pelvis up and off the floor gently. Okay. 3 full breath cycles. Take your time. When you're ready, you're going to retest. Everyone's going to retest their own stuff first, except for Jeff, because we're going to watch Jeff's retest together. Retest your stuff. See how you're feeling. And let me know if anybody got a noticeable change. Sensational change rather than degrees of range of motion is still a win, okay?
Yeah, I think again, it was sensational for me again this week.
Good.
Got pretty much the same as the last time, like last week. But the first time this week, it felt a lot more uncomfortable to, and then when I did the breath exercises, it felt comfortable like last week. So.
Great. Awesome. Little reset. Natalie, improvement? Was it hard to tell?
Definitely, I can feel it in sensationally, but
Okay.
I can more mobility in the right. The same with the left, but more mobility in the right.
Cool.
I'm assuming it's normal for the hamstring to cramp up. Is that not good?
On the pull?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a little much with the pulling. It's a little muscularly driven, but yes, of course.
No, not on the pull when we're in essentially the bridge.
Yeah, and you're kind of engaging the hamstring.
Yeah, because my right hamstring just totally cramped up. But
okay.
it subsided as I kept breathing, but it definitely cramped up.
Good, that's what you want to do. You went from athlete to relaxed. Dana, how are we doing?
Good.
Good.
I that move every day, so
good.
It's definitely been helpful.
Awesome, I love it. Okay, great. Jeff, let's retest. Thank you for your patience. All right, so everyone, we're gonna watch Jeff. We're gonna start with his left leg. Make sure feet together, toes pointed straight up. Okay. Remember, nothing super athletic. It's hard for me to say like with certainty that Jeff looks flatter. Perhaps he looks a little flatter, rib cage still up, but it looks like his hamstrings are closer to the ground from that starting position. Slow. A little faster than that, Jeff. You're going to tire out. Nice. Okay. Great. Now we're starting to lift. Now we're starting to get muscular. That looks a lot better to me. Does that feel better, Jeff? Sweet. That was a big one. So still kind of lacking the screw home mechanism, that like lock in of the knee. He's still using his strong quad to keep it straight. But Jeff, let's do that again. Nice, like on the left, please. Nice slow cadence of the 1, 2, 3. We get to like There, okay, wow, dude, that's way better. That's much better. That hamstring doesn't lift up until like almost 50 degrees now. Nice job. Okay, and then the right side, we're looking just for that little turnout of the left. Hamstrings are lifting now. Okay, beautiful. Nice work, man. Thank you for demoing. Those both felt sensationally better, yes? Awesome. Okay, beautiful. So that's that posterior lower compression. And it doesn't require, you know, I used to tell everybody to jam lacrosse balls and make themselves cry. And now I'm like, why? You just breathe that shit gone. It's way better. Lacrosse balls still have their place. Okay, beautiful. So that's, that was going to be our position for today anyways, the hook, line, hamstring bridge. Just to give you guys more information, I know that these classes are a lot of talking. You guys let me know. I'm figuring it out with you, okay? Just trying to make you guys better. Whatever's most fun, we'll adapt. But to give you this insight, when we're pushed forward like this, either like tucked under and pelvis pushed forward, I'm being super dramatic. People like this or people like this. It's a compensation for how we're breathing and how we're stacked, right? Our body thinks we're falling forward for whatever reason. We bring the brakes back. Everyone pretty much for some reason has that low butt posterior compression, or it's just tight in there. Okay. And so by doing this, we pull our pelvis into its proper position. And just by it getting into the proper position, that's how we restore all the other range of motion. So when you're like, my hips are tight. Okay, well, let's make sure that that's in the right position first. And then we can address like, is it tight to go up? Is it tight to go out? But the answer is likely everything's tight. And then we pull you into position and everything's looser. Makes sense? Because we're no longer jammed and crammed into corners. We're kind of set at the normal starting position. So that's why I think this is so important. Yeah, I missed this too. I'm happy to be live with you as well. Thanks, Jeff. Cool. But my intent is to make it fun, have other things involved. For me, this is fun. You guys let me know. Gunther talks too much. We're talking about a bunch of shit I don't care about. Let me know. This is for you, okay? Okay, so anyway, we got that opened up. We'll go into now this next positional drill, which is going to teach us how to get hip extension before knee extension. So basically just making sure our butt and pelvis comes through all the way before our knee does. Okay, it's really important for just like walking, running, etc. And oftentimes because we're all stuck like this, we can't get our butt to come through properly. Okay, Chris, you're probably the one who's the least stuck in this position, but even still, this will be beneficial for you. So, and we know that because you're the one who throws your leg way up and you're like, yeah, it feels fine, right? So with this, I have the edge of my yoga mat. If you have that set up, that works really well. Otherwise, a little towel or something underneath the foot, but just flat. All we're doing is giving ourselves this like proprioceptive, this touch cue. You're just gonna feel the thing underneath you. And if you guys can tell, where I'm setting up is essentially just cutting my foot in half. So the front half of my foot is on the mat. I'm gonna turn it sideways for you, okay? Front half of my foot is on the mat or the towel or the thing, whatever it is, okay? So if you were to look down, the ball of my pinky toe is on the mat and just beneath it, the center of my foot is off, okay? What I'm doing here, everything good so far? What I'm doing here is going to bend my knee as far as I can without letting my heel come off the floor. If you guys have enough range of motion, you should cover your toes so that looking down, you can no longer see your toes. Okay. Otherwise, you just go as far as you can forward, straight forward with the knee. You're going to keep that knee bend, and you're very slowly, like a Jefferson curl, going to just round your body down to the ground. And you're going to keep all your weight on the towel or the mat. So, you know, I've got only my front half of the foot on here. All my weight is on that front half. My heel is staying in contact with the ground, but all of my weight is on the object or the front half of my foot. I'm not doing anything with that knee. And then I'm slowly rolling back up, trying to keep the knee in the exact same position until I get to a stand again, okay? Ooh, if you guys do this correctly, the lower leg is gonna burn deep in the calf and your butt should burn, okay? If you have that foam roller, stick it right in front of you. This will help you to think about the knee position. You can reach your knee to the foam roller. And then the whole time you're rounding down and then coming back up, you're thinking about keeping that knee reaching to the foam roller. Okay. I'm gonna watch you guys do this. We're gonna go through this like 3 times. And the intention here is to really get that glute burn and that deep soleus burn. All right, this is where I find out that I'm a shitty coach. So, Natalie, more of your foot on there. We want to make sure, all of you guys think about this, your pressure is going through the balls of your toes and not your toes themselves. So the pressure should really be on like the front half of the arch of your foot rather than a gripping toe grabbing strategy. So make sure your toes are kind of relaxed. Natalie, more of your foot on there so that the whole ball of your pinky, yes, cut your foot in half, even more of your foot. There we go. That's better. Okay, good. And then Chris, make sure that you're thinking about this rounding of the body. So instead of so excessively bending the knee, you're doing a great job with the knee bend, but I think you're prioritizing that. I want you to prioritize this like rounding deadlift here and then this rounding coming up. Your knee position is awesome. Good. Jeff, slide your back foot closer to your front foot. There. And just Jefferson curl it. Round down like a deadlift in that bent knee position. Awesome. If you guys are feeling that deep lower calf and maybe even more the butt of that leg, butt cheek, glute muscle, then we're doing it right. If not, let's troubleshoot. Let me know. So Chris, stay there. Raise your hips up. Raise your hips up more. Think about doing like a forward fold hamstring stretch.
I am struggling with balance on this right now.
Okay, good. So when you start, thank you for saying so. When you start, bring your back foot a little bit closer and just keep it like a kickstand. Yeah, and then just stand all your weight on that working leg, whatever leg is the knee bending leg. Okay, pause where you are. See how you moved your back foot further away? Just keep it close. Keep it super close. Yeah, and now instead of hinging forward and getting your chest closer to the ground, watch me for a moment here. You have your knee bend perfect. Let's just think about chin to chest, nose to chest, forehead to chest, rolling down, staying as vertical as you can, hips as high as they can stay, pushing into the ball of the big toe. You guys are going to do about 3 on each side. You can do more. I really just want you to feel that deep calf and that glute. There you go, Chris. That's much better. And then roll it up, keeping the knee bent, there, and getting tall through the torso. Go slow on your way up here, Jeff. Think about keeping your knee bent, coming taller with the torso. Okay, make sure you don't extend your knee at the top. Okay, so another thing that we can practice here, you guys are doing a great job of this. It is a very challenging thing to do. Another thing that we can practice is just getting into that knee bend. Okay, if you guys will for a second, just check this out and do it with me. Get into that knee bend and just find the 2 spots that I'm trying to get you to fire. Like just being in this position, I feel the glute working and I can shift and bias my weight into the balls of my toe, not my toes themselves, not gripping, but kind of the forefoot of the foot. And I can feel that deep calf and I can feel the glute. Okay, you guys should find that. Once you do, instead of going all the way around and down and up first, let's just work on the hinge to the stand without extending the knee. So the knee is still bent, but I'm like flossing this glute closed and open without extending the knee. The knee stays bent. So you're coming from a nice tall position with the knee bend to kind of a hinged position with the knee bend and back up. And you should really feel those 2 areas. Jeff, stand up tall. Go back to your left. Stand up tall. left foot on the, yep. Stand tall and then think about extending your hips. So squeeze your butt, push your hips forward towards the bed. Now keep your torso that tall. Do not hinge forward with your face and bend your knee. So you get shorter instead of moving forward. That's what I want. Now round and come back up, keeping that position. Don't hinge, roll. Good. When you come back up, knee stays forward, but your body stays high. So hips should stay up. Keep the knee forward, get your face as open as possible. Yeah, good. Are you feeling that? Man, we're like contortionists here. It's crazy. You guys are doing great. Okay, did we get 3 each side? Does anyone feel like, yep, I got it? Both the lower leg and the glute are burning on both sides. So everyone's confused.
No, I have the burn. Like,
good.
Especially my ass is like seriously burning.
Good, good, good.
I don't know if that's supposed to be happening. Glute?
Yes,
okay.
yes. We just opened up that whole area and now we're just kind of retraining it to come through before the knees do. Okay, Natalie, we're gonna have to troubleshoot this side. So a couple things. Move your foot forward even more on the mat. Okay, cool. And then imagine getting as light as possible through the heel on that left side. It's still touching the ground, but just like reduce the weight, just a little touch. Okay, yeah. Now that you have that, I also want you to make sure that your toes are able to move around. Yeah, so the only thing really, really driving into the ground is that ball of the big toe, that area, that line across. Drive weight into that, but keep your toes from gripping. Just drive weight into that. Good. Let your heel rest again. Bring your other foot to just the toes, so it's a kickstand. All your weight's in your left. All your weight is driving through that line across the balls. Okay, unlock the gripping of the toes. There you go. Okay, sweet. Now, find a tall backwards face. There's an object in front of your face, but keep your knee bend. Okay, there's a wall right there. Just curl straight down. So you're not hinging, you're just curling. Good. Keeping those hips high. Good. Keeping that knee where it is. Okay, that's pretty good. How's that feel? I'm assuming that's thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Man, thank you for your patience, guys. You guys are doing awesome. Okay, good, good, good. So these are, again, this is kind of like the bridge between before and this is the bridge between me teaching you this crazy new stuff that's like, whoa, it's all brain, and exercise was just like harder. I know how to do this, it's easy, but it's like burning and I'm fighting pain. This is the bridge. We're now trying to tie all that stuff in so that you can go from arbitrary breathing thing to hard exercise and not have such a gap, okay? All right, so wall sit and passive zombie get up. Let's get into this. With the wall sit, you guys already have your glutes on. We already kind of know what that feels like. We're just gonna go into regular old wall sit. You guys are gonna come down to about 90 degrees. And now that we've played around with all those different positions, I want you to think about it in terms of the foot. So I'm driving as much pressure and weight through the ball of the big toe line without gripping the toes and without just driving through the heels. So we're kind of finding where that middle tension point is. We're gonna hold this wall sit for anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds. I don't want you to like be dying. I just want you to feel like, oh, it's a good burn, good challenge, okay? I'll start the timer. If you're already on, it's all good, count to 30-ish. But be intentional with where the weight of your body is in terms of the foot, okay? So kind of that line of the ball of the big toe. Not gripping with the toes. Timer's on 3, 2, 1. We're at parallel-ish. Good, toes are pointed straight forward if possible. Okay, knees are tracking in line. And we're trying to find those 2 spots that we just engaged. So that low kind of glute, deep glute area, the calf area even, and of course the quads. For my timer, This is 3 to 30 seconds. If you're not quite getting it yet, stay there. And you should be able to dissociate where the tension is. You should be able to manipulate. This is more quad, this is more glute, this is more foot, etc. Okay, take a break. Nice work. Passive zombie get up. So you guys are going to, you guys know the zombie get up. Just get into that position where you are on your knees, toes are tucked underneath, or sorry, untucked, so they're flat against the ground. All I want you to do is come back, bending the hips to a nice deep quad stretch. And each of you is going to have to be in a slightly different position. Some of you are going to have your ankles out wider than your hips. Some of you are going to have your toes touching and your knees out wider. I want you right now to find the most comfortable position, you sitting on untucked toes. Okay, so just have a seat back there. This is stretch for the front of the ankle, stretch for the shin muscle, stretch for the quads, the knees, etc. If it's not much of a stretch, Dana, it looks pretty nice for you, then I'm going to have you bring everything together and then sit on your heels with your feet completely straight. Okay, so there's a difference between, see my feet here decently well? Okay, there's a difference between letting your ankles go out, your heels go out, versus toes touching and heels in together, okay? If that's easy, then bring those heels in, touching each other, and sit on them. Yes, together. Good, and then if that's easy still, just start to move back and lie it down a little bit, opening up the hips. So place your hands behind you, come back further. Everyone else should be sitting in this and just relaxing. We're kind of riding the edge of discomfort. Jeff was too uncomfortable, he left.
Sorry, my fucking idiot tenant is out there with a fucking leaf blower trying to blow fucking snow away because he's a fucking idiot. I literally just want to murder this guy. Sorry.
6 times.
Fuck.
Okay, so we're in a nice passive stretch. All right. Everyone can come out except for Jeff. Jeff, you need like another 10 minutes in that position. Nice, calm breathing. Exactly. Okay, sweet. Everyone else, let's go back to the wall sit. Seriously though, Jeff, stay in it. And just relax, melt into it. About 45 seconds in this wall sit. Okay, we're really just trying to get heat into the joint, into all those muscles, but be intentional with where your attention is. Go ahead, wall sit, 3, 2, 1. Chris, let's go more of a 90-degree angle, so move your feet further away from the wall. Just step out a little bit. There we go. Awesome. You guys think about if I'm looking at you from the side, just make sure that we've got like perfect 90 degrees. Okay. Now I want you to think about something slightly different. Jeff, stay relaxed. I'll take you out of it in a second. Make sure the inside edge of your foot is down. Okay. Not like collapsing in, but it's down. And then I very subtly want you to move your knees out and in without supinating and pronating your foot. So if my hands are your feet, without letting it roll up and out like this to create an arch, just keeping the inside edge of it down and just moving from the hips, knees out and in. If that means you move centimeters, that's fine. Start to move out and in. Start to see what that feels like, keeping that inside edge of the foot down. All right, go ahead and relax. That was almost a minute. Great job. And then let's go back to our passive zombie get up position. You're going to increase it just a little bit more. Jeff, to the wall, same thing. For you, Jeff, I really want you to focus on straight feet. Okay, so making sure you're not duck-footed when you set up, and then get that inside edge of the foot down and very subtly start to play with knees out, knees in. Everyone else is in that saddle stretch, nice and relaxed, trying to increase it a little bit more, meaning just progress the position. Still kind of finding that edge of comfort, discomfort. I want to bias towards comfort, actually, not discomfort. So kind of stay relaxed. Okay, Jeff, straight forward with the feet, 90-degree angles. And then let's play with that. So inside edge of the foot stays against the floor, nothing dramatic. You should just feel that contact. And then I want you to subtly start moving the knees away from the middle and back in without any movement of the foot. There will be pronation, supination. So this kind of collapse and arch creation. Yeah, beautiful. But you're kind of fighting those two things. Good. Any of you watching this on recording, there's a huge spectrum of where you should be. Some of you guys can pull your hands back and like lean your torso back. Some of you guys have so much ankle tightness and stiffness that you've got to have your hands forward and your body's actually leaning forward. Either way, you're sitting on your butt with your toes against the floor, nice and relaxed. Jeff, good work, done. Let's get back into that zombie position. All right, beautiful. Go ahead and stand. When you guys finish that up, go slowly coming out of position. Let's just get the ankles some movement. So standing, you're just gonna do some ankle cars. These aren't really totally controlled articular rotations. I just kind of want you moving the ankle around. Okay, you don't have to have your foot so elevated. I know I'm showing you with the camera. So just moving it around about 5-6 circles in each direction. The slower, more controlled you are, the better. So imagine you're painting with your toe, create a perfect slow circle. Beautiful. About 5 per side. Jeff, you'll do the same thing. Okay, we're going to do one set of this knee over toe passive, knee over toe calf raise and passive toe sit. And then we're going to do our breath movement burpee. Okay, so knee over toe calf raise. You guys are going to go back to the wall you were just at. We're going to get into kind of the same exact position that we were in earlier, where we drive the knee forward. We keep our torso tall to begin. Okay, so our knee is driving. Get an ankle stretch, keeping the foot down. And then from here, if you guys notice, my torso is kind of in line with the wall. I'm not like head to wall, but behind, creating an angle. I'm trying to stay upright. And then I'm just kind of supporting myself on the wall to go into this calf raise. Heel down, heel up, heel down. Now, the slower and more controlled this is, the stronger and harder this is going to be. Some of you are actually going to lack the strength to bring your whole body up in that position. And if that's the case, that is totally fine. Let's do both legs at the same time, okay? So Jeff, bring both feet to the wall. You do have the strength for this, but I just want to make you figure this out first, okay? Bend your knees only, keeping your torso tall, as far as they will bend without your heel coming off the ground. Good. You can back up a tiny bit. You don't need to be so close to the wall. Okay. And then slowly, keeping that position, just push through the ball of the big toe and lift up. The whole body, lift up. Yes, keeping your knees bent. And then go back, find a calf stretch. Good. Whole body up, finding a calf stretch. Good. And then if you can replicate that with just one, that's awesome. So what you guys are thinking about here is very, very challenging move. It's trying to get the whole system to come up together with the knee bend. Okay, come back. Things to note here. Watch my body. Watch my body, okay? I may not have you do the burpee thing today. You're welcome. Let's focus on this first. I think this is more important. So when we get to this position, I'm just gonna do both legs because it's a little bit easier. Can you guys see me okay, or should I move a different wall? Yeah, let's do this one better. Okay, check this out. You're all messing this up. Love you. Bend your knees, keeping your heels down, okay? Torso is tall. There's a couple different things. We can try to get the calf raise with the knee bend, but then ultimately make our whole body go up into extension. You see how this is a problem? My knee is no longer bent. So I was thinking about like getting taller through my head and the whole thing went extended. That's not what I want for this position. Or I can stay in this and then kind of sit to create more of a knee bend. These are dramatic representations. I want you to find that knee bend, calf stretch, and then this is now your new shape, and the only thing that moves is you pushing through the calves. So my body, butt and head are moving up, but only as much as I push down, because I'm keeping this shape in my body. If you're doing this on one leg, the other leg should be off of the floor. When you start, your heel must be in contact with the ground. So you're standing up tall with your heels on the ground, and then you're just subtly bending your knees as much as they will bend without lifting your heels off the floor. And then you're doing a calf raise from there. Keeping that bend. Calf raise, the whole thing comes up. Beautiful, Natalie, nice. Make sure butt's coming up as much as the heel is. So your whole body is moving in this shape. Knees coming up. If your heels come up 3 inches, your knees come up 3 inches. Same with your hips, same with your head. Good, Dana. Yes, Chris, nice work. Good, Jeff. And then see if we can deepen the calf stretch by going more knees bent at the bottom of every rep. Good. Okay, once we've done a good amount of those, we got that pushing power through the ball of the big foot, ball of the big toe, and the toes themselves. And now we're going to do the opposite saddle where we actually tuck the toes. So when you come down, your toes are tucked underneath like so, okay? And then I would suggest that you kind of walk back into, shimmy back into a deeper stretch there and sit on your heels. For a lot of us, this is going to suck really bad, okay? So take it slow. Some of us might not be able to do this without excessive pain, so just take your time getting into position, and then we're just sitting up tall with our toes tucked. Some of you guys are gonna have no problem in this, and that's cool. You're gonna just progress that as much as you can. Same kind of stretching aspect, but now we're really getting into the bottom of the foot. Is that feeling pretty good for everyone? No, okay, good. Whether it is good or whether it's not good is probably good, you know? And keep backing up into it, creating more of a stretch if you can. If it's like you're on the threshold of pain, stay and relax, melt into it, okay? Time and your breath will allow that to just say, okay, we're fine, and give you less tension, less pain. Breathing deeply, however you please, but focusing on that exhale. When I say deeply, I don't mean dramatically, I just mean full breaths, slow breaths, full releases, okay? The longer you stay in this with no movement, the better. So that's why I say bias towards comfort. You're on the edge, but you're not so uncomfortable that you're like, F this, get me out of it. That's too much. These are kind of the specific points when I have you guys doing your passive stretches at the end of your exercise, you know, the ones that only some of you do. Really important. If we haven't talked about this before, I am still talking and you are still stretching. Stay relaxed. If we haven't talked about this before, there's no way to like avoid the soreness. Okay. So if you've ever heard like stretching so that you don't get sore, that's garbage. Soreness is a totally separate thing. However, the stretching that I have you guys do afterwards is in order to open up soft tissue, to get Golgi tendon to respond, to open back up, and to promote blood flow and recovery. So while it's not going to get rid of your soreness, it is promoting recovery. It's also opening you up to new positions that you couldn't access previously. It's really important to do after a workout, not before. So if you do it before, you are susceptible to injury because you've just accessed a new space that you don't own. That's dangerous. But if you do it after, then you go about your life and your day just doing your normal things, and you're actually telling your whole nervous system like, hey, this new susceptible area that we just opened up, I guess it's fine because I'm not getting hurt. And then you're gradually increasing your range of motion going forward. So it's like a proactive way for you to get swollen flexy, stronger and more flexible. All right, I hope some of that was taken away. Nikki's been gone all weekend. I haven't talked as much as I normally do. So it's coming out for you guys. All right, amazing. I'm going to forego the other stuff because those two were kind of our passive holds for today. Any questions about anything that we went through today? Any comments? Anything for future?
So in that saddle stretch, I feel it on the top of my kneecap. And it's like really pulling.
On the toes tucked or the toes untucked or both?
Toes tucked, this past one. Well, actually on both of them. That's where I feel it is on the top of my kneecap.
Okay, cool. And you also hate zombie get-ups?
I hate them. Yes. These two, and grateful that you forewent them. But,
Yeah. Okay. So that tells me that likely the lower compartment of your leg is pretty stiff, like the anterior tib and all the musculature inside this lower compartment. Because when you tuck under, you're like flexing that and then causing even more tension in this and this. It's connecting here. So in order to test this theory, let's do a set of tibialis raises very slowly and controlled in the beginning until you feel like you've got that muscle firing, and then just kind of burn it out, not like total failure, but get the front of your shin muscle firing and burning. If you guys got to go, you got to go. Adios. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me live.
Thank
I'll see
you.
next week. You're welcome. So Natalie, when you're doing this, do you already feel that shin burning?
don't. No.
You don't feel it. Okay.
No.
Bend your knees a little bit. And then let's just do like, I don't know, 10 quicker reps. So up, 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 up. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Good. Keep going. That adds up. Takes time. I said previously that it was basically stuck, so it's going to be harder for you to like recruit and feel the movement because it's not moving the way it should. So we're trying to get more movement. Okay. Get it like to a good burning position, even if you have to do, okay, like good burning, like, okay, I'm fucking over this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now let's try that toe sit again and just see. Very slowly. I'm not expecting a world of a change, but I just want to see if there's any change. Where are you feeling the tension the most?
Like right here.
Patellar. Okay, cool. Does it feel any different than it did previously?
No.
Okay, cool. Try that one. Let me see really quick.
This one doesn't hurt as much.
Okay.
But this still hurt. This is where I feel it is right in here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so my other thought is that the other one is just forcing you into more tension up the backside, which is hip extension. And so we're just creating more tension on the knees in general. The simple answer is the better and stronger you get at the reverse, at the strength of going back behind you. So hip extension, right? Coming through, this thing stretching out, this thing actively working to bring it behind your body. The better that strength balance is going to be and the less tension we're going to have. The even simpler, shorter answer is that we just need more mobility, more strength through that range. So all the like knee over toe stuff, all of the zombie get up stuff is going to help, but you can also just as a like quick temporary help, foam roll that quad. Okay. Because that's what you're just pulling so much tension there that it's like, I can't handle this amount of tension.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's nothing like, other than being in that very specific tension position, it's nothing that's giving you grief anytime else.
No.
Good. Okay. Sweet. That's normal. We all get to an end range where, that's it. Right? Yeah. You can only tighten up the positions and tension, the muscles to a certain degree until the joints say like too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So it's quad related. Yeah.
It's the whole thing. It's the whole system related.
Okay.
But yes, my thought is your hamstrings and your backside are lengthened. It's that sexy butt. And then that tension is actually increased as you tuck the toes in that position. And that's all adding to, because it's all connected, is all adding to the quad tension. Okay. I'm only saying this so specifically and going through the whole picture because it's not fair to just say, oh, your quad's tight. Your quad is, you can make that more, give that more capacity, but the reality is you need the whole system to work better.
Yes. Okay.
It's like a push pull. And so you're doing a pull, and it's like, it's too much pulling.
Understood. Okay.
Cool. That's good for me to know too, because I'll start throwing that into the programming.
No need.
Yeah. No, it'll be good. Not bad. I promise.
Whenever I see zombie Getups, I'm like, fuck, I hate
And not
them.
just that, but more hip extension work, getting the hip.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
I have a
Chris,
quick
good?
general question.
Yeah,
so
please.
I noticed that when I do like movements that are specific with like mobility, that I don't usually have like a lot of issue with it, but it's when weight is incorporated. Like, so when I do the at-home workouts, because I don't have access to a gym, I don't go to a gym.
Yeah.
And I usually don't find the workouts to be like super challenging. I mean, challenging enough, I'm sweating, I definitely get a good workout, but is it bad to have, I guess it's not bad. Are there disadvantages to being mobile but not strong? Because I feel like that's my case.
Yes, absolutely. So strength is number one. Strength is everything, honestly. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I'm biased for a good reason, I think. So you have a spectrum. You have, first of all, what you're talking about is flexibility versus mobility.
Oh, okay.
So here's the difference. If I'm lying down and you come over and you pull my leg and push it into a deep stretch, however far I can go, that's my flexibility. But then if you let go of pushing down on me and I can keep my leg there, that's mobility. If you can push me all the way to, here or whatever it is, but then you let go and I can only hold it there, that's the gap between my flexibility and my mobility. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to be flexible enough to get into a position and then control the position to be mobile. Make sense?
Yes.
Good examples are Jeff and Nikki, opposite ends of the spectrum. Jeff is pretty stiff, but he's strong. Nikki, you can bend her in like a noodle, but she can't own all those positions, right? Like if you put some weight on her, it could be potentially dangerous. With Jeff, we put some weight on him. I can probably push him into a deeper position, but like there's only so far he can go, and that's safer because he's got less opportunity to like access too much range, right? Neither of them is better than the other. They're opposite ends of the spectrum, right? One is not going to be able to move into positions because they're too stiff. One is going to be able to access all positions, but not control them too loose. Make sense? So I'm just like over elaborating, sorry. You're basically somewhere closer to the Nikki side of things where you have good flexibility. That's often for yogis, good flexibility, but no strength, right? And the most perfect thing is as much flexibility, mobility, and strength as possible. So you want to be like super jacked, super strong, maybe not size, doesn't matter, right? But just super strong and also able to move everywhere. That's like the pinnacle.
I've been trying to like process that because I've noticed, like I notice now that we're not doing the classes live and where I'm not necessarily, probably not pushing myself like weights wise as much as I probably should be. I'm able to do the exercises and I feel like I get a good workout, but I feel, I don't know, especially things where I have to hold for a long time, it kills me. Like I can get into, like you said, I can get into positions, but when it comes to like holding or doing like the tempo, kills me.
Great. Then that's what's awesome for you. The tempo is the most magic thing I could ever prescribe for you guys because it's both ends. For someone like Jeff, he's able to basically teach it. Sorry to keep bragging on you, Jeff. I'm also closer to Jeff than Nikki. For someone like us, we're able to, like, if we go fast in his sling, I'm like, wow, this is garbage, it's not a good position. But if I go slow, I'm like, oh, I'm overcoming this with my muscular strategy. And now I can figure out how to get deeper and deeper and deeper and stretchier, you know what I'm saying? So like I can use the tempo to actually give me a deeper position. For you, or like a Nikki, the tempo is gonna allow you to control the positions and stay under tension. Without it, you're just like noodle, right?
No, that makes sense.
my point is use it to challenge yourself. Like that's how you're going to get stronger and own those positions. And if it's just like pushing yourself, part of why you guys see repetitiveness in the program is so that you can come back and have like a standard held. So it's not arbitrary. If it's too arbitrary, you're not stacking and making progress. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I'm like, do 10 squats as heavy as you can, you have a very standard, obvious, I did 10 squats and I could not hold more than 150 pounds. Then you do it again and you do 155 pounds, 160 pounds, whatever it is, right? It just gives you something to have like a very direct comparison versus like, let's try to get stronger. Do 10 squats as heavy as you can. Okay. Now let's do like, I don't know, jumping lunges. And now let's do walking lunges. They're all like too different for you to actually progress them properly. And it just goes more off the day. That's not a problem. That's a different strategy, but I'm rambling. Sorry. The point is when you do these at-home things, find a way to understand when you mark it down where your like upper limit is. Do you have an example exercise where you're like, I'm not pushing myself?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it always is usually like, it usually is on upper body day. I don't find any issue with pushing myself on lower body days, but it's the upper body days where I'm just like I'm very quick to scale back if I can't, especially if it's like holds or if it's like really slow. I'll do the tempo, but I'll do far less than.
Okay. So you have to remember this. And this is totally my fault. I apologize. Because when I threw you guys into the app, there's a lot of things that I didn't make like super clear for you going forward. The number one focus is hitting the rep range and the tempo without exception. If you can't hold the tempo, it's too heavy, right? If you are doing more than the rep range, it's not heavy enough or it's not hard enough while holding the tempo. If you are holding the tempo, but you can't get into the rep range, then you need to make it easier so you can get into the rep range. Does that make sense? So those are the sweet spots of like, you're doing a good job. So for you, let's say it's push-ups, and let's say that it's 8 to 10 push-ups and the tempo is like 3 seconds down and coming back up, 3 seconds down, coming back up. If you do a regular push-up and you do 3 seconds down, you come back up, and then you do the next one and you're like, I can't even get up. It's way too hard for you. I'm not asking you to do 2 max effort push-ups. I'm asking you to do 8 to 10. So if you go to the knees and you do 3, 2, 1, or you elevate it or whatever makes it easier for you, and then you're like, okay, number 8, oh my God, and then you're done. Now you've done it perfectly.
Okay, that helps me a lot because I definitely was struggling with push-ups in particular. You actually picked the perfect thing with push-ups. I can't get in the rep range at the time.
Good. So that's exactly what I want you to focus on.
Okay, perfect.
And then you'll have a marker because you'll be able to say like, okay, I can get into the rep range with this 3 second on my knees. And then from there you can progress it and say, all right, well, last time I did 8 on my knees and I failed. What if I try to do 1 on my feet, like a full push-up, and then do 7 on my knees? Does that make sense? And then you can progress it that way. Or you could say, why don't I try to get 9 or 10 on my knees this time? And I progress it every week in a different way because there's no linear progression when it comes to strength. So it's like 8 to 10, 3 seconds down, but then next week it's 8 to 10 again, but it's like 3 seconds down with a 1 second hold, explode back up, go right back in. So I manipulate certain small aspects of this so that you can get better at it from different angles. And if you're actually pushing yourself each time with those confines, tempo, rep range, there's no way you're not getting better. And like, honestly, you should be banging out 8 to 10 real push-ups in like a month if you're following this properly.
Yeah, and that's the other problem is I just haven't been consistent trying to like with school and work and like I am like off on. So I do notice the pattern, but I probably do like week 1 and then week 3 of upper body, and then I do like week 2 of lower. I'm just all over the place. So that's what I'm working on this next month. Just everything.
If I understand that, and that obviously that's the most important thing is like consistency. if you do find yourself just like not being able to stick to every individual exercise, know that everything pairs up. So 1.1 means week 1, day 1. 1.2, week 1, day 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And right now, I think I have you guys in a split back and forth between just doing 1.1 through 5 and 2.1 through 5, and then it repeats with variation, 1.1 through 5 again, 2.2 through 5. So basically what I'm saying is, if the last workout you did was 2.5, then make sure that the following week you do 1.5, and then the following week you do 2.5 again. Does that make sense? Like match them up. And so if you're noticing that you're only doing the 0.3s and the 0.4s, then just make sure you're doing 0.3s and 0.4s every week.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. That's totally my fault. There were obviously things that I missed when I like had you guys coming into this and whatever else. So thank you.
I did notice the numbers, but I was like, I don't know if these numbers have anything to do with anything.
I'm very close. I gotta let you guys go in a second. I'm very close to, I've been recording this whole time. I gotta stop recording.